Ah, the kart racer. Everyone has their favorites from the Wii, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3 era. This really was the family console generation. And with so many different kart racers out there, most would consider Mario Kart Wii to be the best, which it is. But some people didn't always have the knowledge or the luxury of having a Mario Kart Wii to be able to play with their family. Most people would just go somewhere like Walmart or GameStop or whatever and just pick up a kart racer that has the character that little Timmy likes on. There's so many out there that are either really good or really bad. Probably the best one that is not Mario Kart, in my opinion, would have to be Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing, the Wii version, not the sequels that they came out with. Those are all pretty bad. But the original is probably the best substitute for Mario Kart, in my opinion. But you can always go with the licensed character game. And in my opinion, the best of these would probably be Jimmy Johnson's Anything with an Engine Racing. This game is based off the NASCAR racer Jimmy Johnson, and in a game where you take random objects like sofas, toilets, and even a cement mixer and give them giant engines and wheels and make random characters race around the track. It's so weird, but yeah, it fits the concept of what a NASCAR kids racing game would be perfectly. And while at first you look at this and think it's just some cheap game to be able to sell to kids, which it is actually far more complex than that. Really, where this game shines is its gameplay. And I think that it nails how it's similar to Mario Kart, but yet different in the same way. But it also includes some important aspects of NASCAR into its racing as well. The normal things in this game is, the driving, the drifting, all those types of stuff. But you have in the top right corner, you have two important things. You have a bunch of these little icons, and then you have this meter. What this meter does is show you how many times you've been hit throughout the race. These can either be from items, running into walls, or just hitting other players. If that meter reaches 0, then you explode and you have to start farther back in the pack. But after every lap, you can go into the pits and you can mash the gas button to get your health back. But what's actually very interesting about this and where the gameplay truly shines is with these icons up in the top. The flame one is your boost, which acts similar to the cruising games that you see in those arcades, where you double tap the gas to get a short speed boost, and it comes back about every 5 to 10 seconds, something like that. The next one that looks like a submarine mine places an object behind you, either for protection or to just place around the track. Then you have your missiles, which is used to hit other players in front of you, and you also have this ram button, which can allow you to knock players around that are close to you. What's even more interesting about these items is that each character has a specific one, and depending on the stats of the character, can change how powerful they are. So one character may have very large and powerful mines, however, they have very bad missiles that don't do much damage and don't really slow the opponent down that much. It's also so much fun to pick different characters to see what they're actually going to use as weapons. Like the bathtub guy will drop a rubber ducky behind him and throw toilet brushes at the opponent. You just never know what you're going to get from these characters. The way that you get the items is by running over these yellow spots in the ground. By doing this, you increase a meter that will give you different things. Over time, you'll upgrade them and you'll unlock everything for the race. But they also only limit the mines and missiles to a certain amount per lap. You can get one of each after crossing the finish line for each lap, or you can completely replenish your quiver of weapons by going through the pit again. All of this adds so much to the intense gameplay of the game. But like in every racing game, the tracks are just as important as the gameplay. And I'm happy to say that the tracks are all fantastic. Every track is placed inside of a giant arena, like a NASCAR track, and everything's made out of wood and set in different, almost like time period, but also has like some cool demolition derby aesthetic to it. They even have traps on them, which is these red buttons that will either open up shortcuts for you or leave a trap for the character right behind you. There's so much complexity in these tracks, and while there's only about 13 of them, they are still very good. They even have this shortcut mechanic that I still don't fully understand, but it's mostly for the players in the back to be able to catch up. Where if you get enough applause and you're near the back of the pack, you can cut a big portion of the track by them opening up these gates. It's a pretty cool mechanic and something that is a good way for younger players to catch up in a race. It's almost like this version of a comeback mechanic like the Blue Shell is in Mario Kart. The single player cup mode is also very cool as they throw you into different scenarios, like a time trial, a boss race against another player to which you can then unlock them, and even one of my favorites, the endurance map. Usually you have 3 or 4 laps in a normal race, but this one, depending on which one you pick, goes crazy on it. They have sometimes 12 to even 20 laps in one race. And this really adds to how important using the pits at certain times can be. Another awesome mode is the one where you have to drive the opposite direction from the other players in one specific, and you each start halfway through the track. It's a really cool way to not only shake up the gameplay and make it almost like a game of turkey every time you pass the other players, but the only thing I don't like about this mode is that out of the 6 racers, only 3 of them go the opposite direction. And while that's kind of the point of it, I just don't like it because you have a 50-50 chance of actually being able to drive the track backwards. If you're going the right way, it's just a normal race until you have to look out for the people coming the opposite direction. But it's still a very fun mode. If I have to list a few negatives for this game, the first is that there's only 13 tracks. And while they are very interesting and well made, that's still a small number when even the original Mario Kart had 20. And most normal Mario Karts have 16 original, but it still would have been nice to have more. Plus, I wish they included more racers from NASCAR, like Kyle Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Jeff Gordon. This was made in the 2010s, so 2 of those 3 racers actually still raced at the time. I'd also love to see what other objects that those racers would make into vehicles, because while Jimmy Johnson uses a lawnmower in this game, I'm not sure if the developers just picked that or he was asked what he'd like to use, but either way, I still would like to have seen what other vehicles that the other racers could have made. The only other NASCAR quote-unquote character that is in this game is Digger the Gopher. He actually appears in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, and that's the only reason I know who he is.
Don't worry! I'm gonna get a little help from my friend Digger!
Roger that, Alvin!
Look out!
Whoa! Feels like I'm back at the racetrack.
Hey! Keep going! What are you doing?
Wait till I tell everybody back home I saved Alvin Seville.
And now for the verse of the day. Romans 8:31 says, "If God is with us, then who can stand against us?" Another thing that makes this game so fantastic are the announcers. You have one male and one female announcer that talk throughout the entire race, and they are hilarious. They really add to the southern charm that the game tries to give you and goes right along with the NASCAR and demolition derby aesthetic that the game is going for. Another thing I wanted to mention was the family friendliness of this game, and really it's something that you don't need to worry about. It is a kart racer, so it's not like it's going to be violent or anything. Your kart does blow up, but the characters respawn like 3 seconds later, so it's not really an issue. And the announcers don't really say any type of language or anything. But I thought it'd be nice to bring it up because I usually do it in the rest of my reviews. Overall, if you were shopping in Walmart one day and just saw a line of old Wii games that you wanted to play, you could do far worse than this. You could get very bad ones like the DreamWorks Kart Racer or M&M's Kart Racer or something really dumb like that. I'm happy to say that this is a very high quality one as far as the licensed kids games go. I would give it 8 out of 10. Could have more tracks, but still a great time. So that's my review. What do you think? Are you going to go play this game now, or have you played it before? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.